forgive me. I am my own cameraman today because I bribed my children to stay out of the room. We will see if that works because I do have a 1-year-old. So being my own cameraman, I don't know if anybody's watching. I don't know if anybody's commenting to ask questions. So I apologize ahead of time. I will go as slowly as possible. You can post your questions and I will answer them afterwards. Hopefully I answer them beforehand, but we will see. Ignore the pumpkin for a minute. Paper mache. This started out as kind of a craft I wanted to do for Easter, with us being quarantined at home, constantly trying to find something new and interesting to entertain not only myself, but kids and husband. We're all kind of crafty people, so this has been something I wanted to do. Been watching videos on it, have some mom friends, thought I would do a video to show you how to paper mache balloons. To make them look like Easter eggs is the end goal. So blowing up the balloon, that one's taped down, so we're just going to ignore that. Starting with the balloon, you can blow the balloon up as much as you want. You don't want it all the way filled though. You want some give here because as the glue dries, it may cause the balloon to pop. And you are going to pop the balloon, but you want it to pop it on your time after it's had 24 hours to dry. So this is a 12-inch balloon. This is the largest I would blow it up because it's got some give, but not a whole lot. So balloon, as I found out earlier today, because this is actually my first time paper macheing balloons versus objects such as the pumpkin. You need to tape down the object that the balloon is going to be on and also tape the balloon to the object. Problems that this is going to cause is I'm obviously not going to be able to paper mache all the way down to here. So after I've paper macheed probably all 3 layers, I will flip it and paper mache the top. If you're trying to do an open effect, some people do vases if you're fancy, and they'll actually leave the top open and just cut around it so then it is an open base. And if you do enough layers, you can actually stick something in there, though I would have glass or plastic at the bottom to catch any water because this is paper. It's not a miracle product. Will break. Supplies. There are 2 formulas that you can do. I'm sticking with the glue. The flour catastrophe, we'll call it, super messy. This is not clean by any means, but the flour is super messy. So I used Elmer's school glue and a cup of water. So a cup of this, a cup of water, basically just equal parts. You want to use salt, table salt, to prevent the growth of bacteria. Because this could sit here for a while and get painted and all of that jazz. Bacteria will grow if you don't use the salt. It's kind of a preservative. I grabbed these, Walmart grabbed these big old bags because nobody's really shopping for anything anymore. Walmart grabbed these big old bags for me. These were clearanced for under $4, I think, for 72. So got some of these bad boys. When I use these to mix, and then I am just using my hands to paper mache, probably does make it a little bit more messy than it needs to. You can use paintbrushes if you want. It's going to be a slow process. So being the impatient person that I am, I'm just throwing it on my hands and throwing it on the balloon. So what I was trying to show you was the mixture is watery but goopy. So you start with your piece of newspaper. You can use long strips like this, or you can do smaller pieces. it's not going to matter as long as you get a nice good coat. I put it in there and I take off the excess paint. Glue. This is glue. We're not at the paint step yet. And just start covering the balloon. Please stay tape. Earlier today, as I was making these two, my balloons just sort of hopped anywhere they wanted to go, which was entertaining, only because the baby was asleep. That would have been a hot mess. There, again, is no rhyme or reason to how you put these up here. I like to follow a pattern, so when I come back for the second and third coat, I know where I need to put on the pieces first. This guy has 3 layers of paper and glue. This only has 1. They were done about 2 hours ago and are nowhere near dry. So this today will be just to show you the start of this project. If there's any interest, I can go live again later this week to show you how to prime and paint, because with the newspaper, nope. All right. And this is why I wore a jump shirt. Balloons just love me. All right. So let's see if I can make this work. Wow, the glue is sticking to me. All right, I think that'll work. So yes, I did. One of these two actually has sea glass in it. I thought maybe anchoring it down would keep it still. No, it's not the cup, it's the balloon. And then the balloon gets glue on it and grabs a hold of that cup, and it's like, this is mine now. We are one. So, tape. Do not use gift tape, shipping tape, packing tape. Masking tape would be the ideal tape, but I used all of our masking tape for our chalk Picasso piece out on our driveway, and I forgot to order more. So, masking tape would be ideal. I'm using painter's tape. Different methods that people have used to apply the glue. I am dipping it. This is gonna rip, so I'm just going to rip it. I am dipping it and then dragging off the extra, because you don't want too much glue on the balloon. It does make it really top heavy, which then makes this a really difficult mission to begin with. So, but other people have actually taken unglued pieces just for the first layer. They take unglued pieces, I'll try, like this guy, and they put it on here, and then they actually paint the glue on themselves. So either would work. For that guy, actually covered the balloon in paint, or I keep calling it paint, glue. I covered the balloon in glue and then started just adding the pieces of paper on there, and it worked. I mean, it's there. I can't tell you it was easier than the method that I'm doing now for that guy, but it's a method. You're committing to a mess by paper macheing, so I say just commit. Get in there. Man, I am committing to this balloon falling over on me. Sad face. I think we will mache the front of the balloon. Hopefully, if anybody is actually watching, you are being entertained by this. This is what I've been doing all morning and still don't have it 100% right. You know what? I'll just do what I did earlier and leave it down. I will not admit defeat against an inanimate object. So when I decided I was going to do this project, for sure, I started watching YouTube videos because what else do we do in our quarantine time, and also just in general? I mean, if you're going to do something new, YouTube it. Somebody else has already done it, I guarantee. So, started watching videos, watched a woman, I don't remember what her channel was called. She made fantastic vases from newspapers and poster boards. Whew, man, that woman, she made them look like old art. My mom used to, she did paper mache, she used to Mod Podge, but we had these ducks in our kitchen, usually in our kitchen. And anytime she changed the decor, she would Mod Podge the ducks a new color. She used napkins, I think. You can use tissue paper. Wrapping paper. I mean, you can really just use any sort of paper. Really thick paper is going to be a little bit more difficult to do, but it's possible. But yeah, anytime she changed the decor of the kitchen, those ducks got re-Mod Podged into a new color. One would say that's where I got my craftiness from, but she is the neat person, so she would have had a much better method for this. So, since these are not going to be anywhere near dry enough to actually finish today, hopefully tomorrow if I don't put too much glue on them, the kids will be painting these to look like Easter eggs so people can see them as they walk our neighborhood. One thing I have definitely noticed with this quarantine is people are spending a lot more time outside, which has been quite enjoyable. We also have been doing it. We've been going for walks, hanging out in the backyard. It's been really nice family bonding time, but it's also been really nice to see other families out and about. Not last weekend, 2 weekends ago, we went on a bear hunt, and the neighborhood put up teddy bears in their windows, or some people put them in their cars, and we tried to spot the bears. We didn't get to walk the whole neighborhood, but we got a good chunk of the neighborhood done, and it was really fun. And I was thinking of suggesting an Easter egg hunt this weekend, since it is Easter, which, you know, some of you may have forgotten because I usually forget the day of the week, if I'm being honest. What day is it? It's quarantine day. But yeah, that's where this idea kind of came from. And I'm really hoping that the kids will have fun, the neighbors will enjoy, unless they decide to blow away in their yard, then it's a little less enjoyable. There is actually, you can weigh the balloons down with things before you blow them up. So when you pop the balloon, it's in the paper mache piece. Honestly, I could have put the sea stones, glass beads on inside the balloon and blown it up that way, and that would have been a nice way to hold them down. So maybe going forward, I will try that. I think I'm gonna have to move my blade now. If you get the glue on your floor, don't worry, it's an easy cleanup. Yep, now it wants to fall that way.
Come on, come on. Yes!
We're almost there.
Why not like that?
If you use the flower method to paper mache with, it is a one coat and done messy happening. If you use the glue, because it's a lot thinner, you need more than one coat. They recommend at least 3. I'm going to see tomorrow if that one is dry. I'm going to see how thick it feels and then possibly do 1 or 2 more coats. But once you cover it and it's to the thickness of your liking, with the newspaper, you are going to want to prime it. You can just use white acrylic glue, or if you've got a spray paint primer, you can spray paint prime, and then just color however you want.
Yes, yes.
Which will be the fun part. This is just the messy part, which, you know, can also be fun if you love messes.
Get out!
I'm not looking forward to letting the kids do this, if I'm being 1000% honest, after seeing how much of a mess I'm making as an adult who has to clean the mess. But this is all about the kids, so if they want to do it, they are going to do it. This coat is actually going really, really well. I don't think I'm going to coat that last piece there. I'm just going to, I've got so much on my fingers. All right, you do not have to allow the bloom to dry, or the coats to dry in between. Just keep coating, and that's why it takes a full 24 hours to dry, but it's gonna look phenomenal. So for the second layer, before I start smoothing, I honestly just do this and wrap it around, and I take advantage of the fact that the first layer is nowhere near dry. I'm making it mad now because I've coated all one side. So the strips are definitely something you want to have cut ahead of time. I did not say that in the video. I said that in my original post. The strips are definitely something you want to have cut ahead of time because they need to be ready to go. I thought I was being smart by folding up the pieces of, or cutting the newspapers in half, folding them up into like a fan effect, putting them in a book to create clean edges, and then ripping. No, just rip. You're not getting judged on perfection. It's paper mache. You're going to cover all of this up anyway. All right, my hands are getting dry, so I went ahead and just coated that, and then I can paint this stuff right on. From what I've noticed, the newspaper is actually smoother, but it's not perfectly smooth unless you take your sweet old time. Which again, for those perfectionists and patient people out there, that is a definite possibility. But for Mitch can't get anything done fast enough, they're not going to be smooth. They're going to be bumpy. And I've accepted that.
The fungus is coming through.
You know, the worst part about this is going to be, how am I going to turn off the live stream with glue all over my hands? Good thing it's just glue. I clean it off my screen. All right, so working on that second layer. Yep, this is genius. It is so much smarter if you've got a lot of extra glue to just stick these pieces on there and smooth them in. Don't try coating. unless you need to. Like my hands are dry now, so I'll keep coating in between, but actually help smooth it out too. So yes, second coat, third coat, let it dry. If you, this one is not completely covered up here, so feel the thickness. If it's where you think you want, go ahead and pop the balloon and prime and paint. So this is one idea you can do for paper mache. I also grabbed this guy because you can actually do paper mache on things like this. The reason you would do paper mache instead of just spray painting is sometimes plastic objects, even with the primer, it's a real pain in the butt to get the paint to stick. So if you use the same method, I don't know if I would use newspaper on an actual object to color it. And you can use colored paper to cut out a step here. But I'm gonna make this guy look like Jack Skellington's face because Jack Skellington is life. So I can cover this bad boy. And then just use regular acrylic paint to cover and not have to do the spray paint primer and all that extra stuff. So yeah, paper mache, super handy. If you have any questions, like I said, comment below. Wear a bummy shirt. This has been fun. I hope you have fun with this, and I hope your kids have fun. And happy Easter.
Kill that pencil.